This cake is so festive and decadent. The eggnog frosting is rich and creamy and not too sweet. And the vanilla cake layers are buttery and optionally spiked with brandy or rum. The flavor is incredible. The vanilla cake is simply butter and sugar, eggs, and vanilla, then buttermilk and a little bit of oil, and the dry ingredients: flour, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. These bake in 3 8-inch pans at 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 160 degrees Celsius for 35 minutes, until the cake bounces back up when you poke it. Let them cool in the pans for about 10 minutes until you can lift the pans without burning yourself, and leave the cakes to cool on a wire rack for about an hour. Meanwhile, make the eggnog frosting, which is one of my favorite things ever. This is an ermine frosting, or boiled milk frosting, or cooked flour frosting. All of the names sound awful, but trust me, you definitely need to make this. Put flour, milk, and salt in a pan and cook over medium heat for about 5 minutes until it simmers. The mixture will thicken suddenly, so don't stop whisking for a moment so it doesn't get lumpy. As soon as it thickens, switch to a spatula and scrape along the bottom and sides of the pan, stirring for about 2 minutes until the mixture thickens enough to leave ribbons when you lift the spatula. It needs to be quite thick, somewhere in between being liquid and solid. Remove the pan from the heat and add vanilla and nutmeg and cinnamon. Mix that in and then pour it all into a bowl. Cover it with plastic wrap, pushing it down onto the surface, and put it into the fridge for about an hour to cool to room temperature. While the eggnog frosting is cooling, make a spiked simple syrup with brandy or rum. I don't like to drink either of these, but I love the flavor in this cake. Making the syrup is quick and easy. Mix water, sugar, and half a tablespoon of rum or brandy in a pan. Bring it to a simmer over medium heat, stirring occasionally until the sugar dissolves. Then let this cool. Then pour it into a squeezy bottle or use a pastry brush to drizzle or brush this over your cake layers. You can do this onto the cake layers as they are, or if they're domed, level the tops with a serrated knife and the syrup will absorb much better like this. Mix butter and sugar together for about 5 minutes until it's smooth and fluffy and lighter in color. Take your cooked flour mixture out of the fridge and it should have thickened to a pudding-like consistency. Scoop it into your butter and sugar mixture and mix for a few more minutes until everything's incorporated. This frosting is even better than eggnog in my opinion. It was one of the best-selling flavors when I had a cake shop. Attach the first cake layer to a cake board with a blob of the eggnog frosting, and now layer the cake with more eggnog frosting, so it's going to be inside the cake and also outside. Yum! Cover the cake with a thin layer of frosting called a crumb coat to trap any crumbs that come off the cake. Smooth the crumb coat, but it doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be covered up soon. Put the cake in the fridge for 30 minutes or the freezer for 15 minutes to chill and set the crumb coat, and then add another layer of frosting, the final layer, which you can smooth with a cake comb, or you can give it some texture with a textured cake comb or the back of a spoon, like on this pumpkin spice cake. I added these little rosettes of eggnog frosting on the top using a 4B star-shaped piping tip. However you decorate the cake, it's going to taste amazing. Keep the cake in the fridge, but take it out about 2 hours before you serve it, so it has time to come to room temperature and the cake and frosting will soften and not only be easier to slice, but also taste their best. This is the perfect flavor combination for December cakes, but if you want to save a slice for later, put it into the freezer for 15 minutes and then wrap it in cling film or saran wrap. And you can put it back in the freezer for 2 months. So if you're craving eggnog in January or February, you can pull a slice out, leave it on the counter for a few hours to thaw, and then enjoy it, and it will taste just as good as when it was freshly baked. Are you going to make this cake? Tell me in the comments. You'll find this and all of my other recipes on BritishGirlBakes.com, and the ingredients are listed in measuring cups and also in grams. I hope you love this cake as much as I do.